Hi there. Today is Saturday, September 10th, 2022, and that makes this the week 36 Return to Creativity update with your hostess, Jennifer Vanderbeek of scrapsoflife.com. This is the second time I'm trying to record this video because the first time I completely went off the rails, and I seldom will stop and re-record this. Usually I just go with whatever I've got. But wow, when I hit record, I just ah, it was I don't know, maybe one day I'll put that up as a blooper because I don't even know where my brain went. Anyway, so how are you? How are you doing? Are you having Oh gosh, how's your week? Now, we just entered Mercury retrograde, so there's that. So your week might be a little bumpy, might be a little bumpy. If so, well, yeah, I understand. Um, Another thing to keep in mind is that, we still live in a world that is kind of wonky at the best of times. And we're also in that in-between season. Like, yeah, it's like school's back in session. We've had Labor Day weekend. And, it's like, okay, it's fall, right? But no, it's still summer. And nature can't make up their mind either. So, anyway, if you're feeling a little upside down, turned around, shaken, not stirred, or vice versa, there could be reasons. I mean, not to say that those cause it, but they reflect. That's my take on it. Anyway, what have I been up to this week? Well, I'll tell you what I didn't do is I didn't edit the book any. Yeah, I was gonna pick that back up this week. A couple reasons why that didn't happen. One is I've had homework knitting to do. Like, homework knitting, Jen? What are you talking about? Well, yeah. So, and I'm like multitasking because I'm going over to getting another screen ready to show what I'm talking about. And no, I'm not going to stop recording and or edit at this point. No, we don't do that anymore to make sure that this gets out on time when it's supposed to. So yeah, there's a couple reasons. One of which is I had homework knitting. Homework knitting means that's what one of my coworkers called it. We have the opportunity. No, and I'm not saying that to be all lofty and make it sound better than it is. No, it's really fun. Gee, I get to knit a project that I probably normally wouldn't, just for whatever reason, with yarn that that I that is not mine. I'm just gonna, the store is gonna give me this yarn and a pattern, and they're gonna tell me to do this. Yeah, it's homework knitting, but it's fun. So we're making more samples, and yeah, the why is the folder that I'm looking for? Oh, because I'm in the wrong thing. Yeah, you're kind of getting a crossover of what it looks like when I do my Twitch streams, I think, because of how things are going. Okay. So, I um yeah, so I've had the homework knitting. I finished the first project that I was doing, which is a shawl. Well, okay, technically the pattern is called a shawlette. I don't have it with me because I've already turned it over. I've turned it over. I already brought it to work this morning. So, but I did take a picture last night, which sometimes I forget to do things, simple things like that. Um, so yeah, I'm getting that picture right now in the right spot, I hope. Come on, scoot, please. All right, let's see if everything's working the way it's supposed to. I see that? No. What you're seeing is a blank space because, and I've forgotten where the button is to fix this, because my scenes lost their ever-loving mind. So here, let's try this. You see it now? There we go. Okay, so this is the shawl that I knit. Sorry about that, folks. And so that's one thing that I was working on, that I was trying to finish up this week. Um, and then another thing that I've been working on is it's in progress. I'm not finished. But this is an illustration that I started this Wednesday during my streamer anniversary Twitch stream. And actually, some of the well, okay, no, that's right. I was thinking some of the colors were rendering funny, but actually, no, they're not. I just forgot that I changed some things. Anyway, yeah, this is not going to be like my new style or anything. This is just something I was experimenting with. Um, but I'm not mad at it. So I did work on that for several hours on Wednesday and then some more on Friday, again during the Twitch stream. So, I've been doing that. And then yeah, so that's there. We can go back to the face camera. Change. Hi. I'm back. So another thing I was working on was finishing up this adorable witch gnome that I made kind of on the spur of the moment. Woo. Anyway, so that's something I've been working on. But those look like they took up a lot more of this week than they did. They did not. In fact, what took up most of my week when I wasn't streaming most of the time, or at the office at the yarn shop. 25 years of habit that just I was playing Disney Dreamlight Valley. Yes. Yeah, so, new game, kind of simply put, it's Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing meet Disney. Um, and it is strangely adorable and amazingly, addictive. I mean, it's like you just kind of like zone in instead of zoning out. And it's just you just kind of get sucked in. And it's like, yay, I still want to play. Yeah. So, that's where the dopamine is this week. And part of me says, "Oh, you shouldn't have been playing that much." And I'm like, "Yeah, but the other part of me says, A, I'm a grown up and, it's okay to sometimes take breaks. B, I actually recorded all of it and created content. It's all uploaded under the Dreamlight Valley playlist in this channel. Or, if you just like look at the uploaded videos, you'll see at least there's 6 of them at this point. I'm like, I know that I'm not going to play as much the longer time goes on, even though it's still in early release, so they're still releasing bits and pieces, so there's lots of stuff still coming out, but still I know that reasonably I am going to switch and do other things. So yeah, I have been totally into that since Tuesday night, since late Tuesday night. So yeah, that happened. But it did give me something to talk about this week, not just as something I was doing. But it kinda there was a teachable moment or a learnable moment, teaching moment. I don't know. Anyway, there was a moment there where I'm like, "Huh, yeah, yeah, I'm kind of getting obsessed with this." Um, I go through periods of obsession, not like, dangerous kinds, but new things, novelties, new people I meet that I click with, and I mean that as friends, gotta clarify, I guess. Um, New authors, new shows, new music, if it's something is new to me and I really like it and I really click with it, somebody or something, I will be all about that for a good little bit. Um and then things will start to taper off. But yeah, I'll like hyper focus on this new thing for a couple of weeks, and then we'll dial it back. The dopamine rush will kind of subside, and then I can just kind of fit it in where it fits with my life. Um, and I have been like that. At least my entire adult life. I don't know if I had I don't know if I oh, I can think of a few times when I might have done that as a teenager. Yeah. Yeah, I can think of a few. I can think of a few things like that. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So tunnel vision, hyper focus, and everything. Of course, now I understand that at least it is at least in part informed by the whole ADHD thing, the dopamine seeking, the serotonin wanting, the where's the new shiny, and to kind of get those happy chemicals churning in our bodies that we're potentially deficient in. So yeah, makes sense. It makes me a lot more accepting. Not just accepting. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not just that I accept it about myself. It's and I or I tolerate it. That has a connotation of like grudging. Even that's not in the true spirit of the word. But it's just something that I'm okay with. I allow myself to do that. And sometimes I find that by acknowledging the hyper focus, I kind of circumvent it or I cut it short, not because that's what I'm trying to do, just because I realize that, oh, wait, this is not the be all end all everything right now. So I don't have to invest all of my time and energy in it. It's not something I consciously do, decide or not, to do or not to do. It just happens. Hello, brain chemicals. Anyway, yeah, the little gray cells are saying more, that sort of thing. So when I do that for like three or 4 days, and I let myself do that, I'm not going to beat myself up the way I might have once because of the idea of not being productive enough or something. So there's that. The other thing, yeah, so that's part of it. But I kind of rabbit trailed there. I'm sure you noticed. And but no, the point of that was brilliance is obsession. Because if you read about, you know, uh study people who make amazing changes, think of brilliant thoughts, majority of the time they are obsessive about what they're doing. They're obsessive about their field. They're obsessive about the change they're trying to create in the world, or their goals, or in a subject. And it's kind of like that whole nerd versus geek. One is like very informed about a lot of, very studious and informed and kind of brainy. The other is near or truly fanatical about usually a niche topic, but not always. And were the track available that could, they could have a PhD in whatever their their thing was, um but it's that obsession that leads to not just the big ideas and the big businesses out there, but the big understandings. Like, we find out more about ourselves as we, allow ourselves to have these obsessions. It's like the big personal changes and the big, you know, the opportunities, I should say. Not everybody takes them, let's say. But yeah, I mean, it's like those obsessions can be really beneficial. Now, of course, moderation in all things, including moderation. So even that allows for some veering to one side or the other. But yeah, I think, so my obsession with this one video game this week, not a problem. If I were to get obsessed with it and not be able to do something with it, and it was like any obsession that is a detriment to our livelihood, our families, our finances, our, whatever. Okay, those are not healthy obsessions. Those are potentially unhealthy possessions, or possessions. No, obsessions. Pardon me. Uh, but the things that are generally harmless, we're keeping our priorities straight. We're making choices. Is like, yeah, no, I'm going to choose to do this. because I'm really into it right now and, being aware of ourselves. Okay, a little obsession is not a bad thing, is what I'm trying to say. But obviously, if it's taken too far, if it is causing problems, well, then that's a whole different ball of wax. I'm not talking about that. Um, I'm talking about those things where we get really excited and really into, and we want to know everything about a person, place, or thing, a subject, a storyline in my case, or a program where I, figured out how to use one of the tools that's been in there the whole time, and I just never really fooled with it because it wasn't clear how to use it, and I didn't look it up, and it really wasn't important to me at the time. But I tried it on a whim this week, and I got some really cool results, and I'm like, "Oh, oh, I'm feeling pretty good about this," you know? Um, that's fine. Um, but yeah, down that road, like I said, it's like if the path existed or could be created, some of these 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 people who are obsessive about topics or niches and just these very important to them things, and what they want to do is be able to tell other people about them, and find other people who want to experience them as well, or learn about them or hear about them or whatever. They are progressing to levels of mastery or expertise in fields that maybe society doesn't see as viable. I'm really going off the rails here. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's try and rein it in. Point being, obsession is a little necessary. So I need to get obsessed with this copy of book 4. I need to be a little bit more obsessed with the writing and getting the marketing plan for this book put together and figuring out the stuff there. Of course, can you force obsession? I would hazard a guess to say no. But what you can do, picked up a crochet hook for no reason, using it as conducting baton. Um, I'm scattered. I'm really scattered today. Sorry about that. No, what we can do though, we cannot force obsession. That gets into whole brainwashing stuff, and we don't want to brainwash ourselves. But what we can do is build up momentum. So, like, if my goal is to renew my obsession with this book, and to the point where I can finish editing it and get it ready for the beta readers and so forth. If I can finish revising it, I just, what do I need to do? I need to break that down into different smaller steps, and I need to keep in mind the end goals, or the things that are going to be maybe milestones that I can celebrate along the way. Um, there is this kind of theory, again, one of those things I picked up since the whole ADHD conversation happened. Um, you know, I had a and as an aside, I had a boss one time who would correct my focus at work some days if I would start the day by asking her, or about something that she considered less important than another goal. And she's like, "You know what? Let's not put our first morning energy into that." And that was her way of saying, tackle this big thing first, or it didn't even have to be a big or time intensive thing. It was like, this is most important, so give it your first energy. Um, Another way of looking at that and hearing that is, do the big things first. Don't put off the big things, tackle them, y- you know, uh, get back on, get on the horse, ride out, whatever you're going to do. I think I was about to mix metaphors and I tried to save it, but let's be real. That didn't make a lot of sense. Um, no, so so yeah, instead of the conventional wisdom, where I'm going, of tackling the big project first, knowing that the smaller projects you can take care of after, does not necessarily work for someone with executive dysfunction or, issues with time management or issues with like interest based productivity or whatever we want to call it. Instead, what has shown to work, and I found this to be true even before I knew it was a thing, um, is that if I do some little tasks and I can check them off my list, then I am building a sense of momentum that can carry me into, and a sense of satisfaction and getting the dopamine running that can carry me into and hopefully through the larger projects. Because sometimes we just need help starting, right? Um, I'm sure, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Um, sometimes it's like, ugh, it's just kind of like getting the ball rolling. It's putting the key in the ignition and pressing the gas or putting it in gear and stuff. But sometimes it's getting to that point is tough. There's either distractions or, too much crazy going on in your head. Oh, I really don't like using I don't like using that. It's too many things going on in your head. you know, Sometimes it's just hard to get started. So if we approach the getting started by saying, okay, well, I'm going to do this and this and this and get those out of the way, they're small tasks, but I will build a sense of accomplishment and it'll carry me into what I really need to be focusing on. And it kind of gives our brains a break, especially if they're smaller, mundane tasks. They're not less important. They still need to get done, but instead of putting them off because we know they'll only take 5 minutes or only this or only that, those 2, 3, 5-minute tasks that we accomplish and then we feel good about ourselves and we're like, "All right, I rock. Let me dive into this big thing." So, that is what I need to do. Now, of course, I this week is gonna be a little tough to do that on because, Monday and Tuesday, Tuesday's work, but Monday is, kinda busy too. I need to do, like, meal preps and stuff like that, and then Wednesday, I'm going out of town. I'm flying to Phoenix, on Wednesday morning, and so I'll be gone for 2 weeks. But once I get there, I can work on yeah, I tried editing in the airport once. Yeah, that even with the noise canceling headphones, the announcements and everything is too chaotic. So that doesn't happen. And then on the plane, I just usually just want to zone out. I might crochet, I might do something like that. But yeah, usually I just like watch a movie or two depending on the length of the flights. But once I get to Arizona, yes, this is coming with me. Yes, I will be working on it quite a bit, as well as doing, all my usual activities. I'll still be streaming. I'll still be um, working on projects. Yeah, but yeah. So I need to fire up that obsession, and I say we can't force obsession, but we can encourage it. If we were really into something before, yeah, I'm coming over back around to my point here. If we were really into something once before, there's not 100% chance, but a good chance, a better than zero chance that interest and that obsession and that fondness is still there. It just got kind of pushed back a little bit. So if we can kind of, if we can get the ball rolling so it kind of slams into that part of the brain or whatever, then we're doing pretty good and we can get back to where we were and move forward. I'm curious to know if this particular Create Brilliance update has seemed more chaotic than usual or about the same. Either this is how these normally go, because I almost never watch them back because I've already said it. I'm good with it. Um, but either that or I'm just like really hyper aware at the moment of potentially how fast I'm talking and am I going off the rails a little bit more than usual? I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, feel free to comment with that. Also, check out the Let's Plays for Dreamlight Valley if you're at all curious about that. It is a really fun game, and no, this is not sponsored, but it's so cute. Um, I will be traveling, but don't worry, I will still be doing my normal updates um, here on YouTube. And while some of the Twitter or the Twitch schedule might be disrupted, especially on the Wednesdays that I'm traveling for obvious reasons, um, but yeah, everything else should stay the same no matter where I am. That's kind of one of the benefits and tenets of being kind of location independent, which I semi am. I mean, technically I can write from anywhere. But yeah, so it's all good. We're all doing well. And if you hadn't checked it out yet, ooh, oh wait, I just remembered something. So, did I mention, I think I mentioned last week. No, I know I did. I mentioned last week about the merchandise store so that I am putting that out there. I'm pretty sure I did. I know I put it in my reader newsletter. And so if I didn't, hey, my art is on things that you can buy if you would like to wear them, have them around your house, whatever. And I will be adding more over the course of September. I'll be adding more Halloween or spoopy themed things, or just general fall items. Starting in November, of course, the Christmas stuff will start filtering in. I know I would prefer to wait till, but practicalities. Anyway, so yeah, if you haven't checked that out yet, it's thecraftybranch.com/store. The link is in the description box down below, which I think that's why I said something about it last week, because I did change that, but no. But yeah, so yeah, so that is up and ready and going well, and I will be making a lot more stuff for that over the coming month. All right, I think that'll take care of it. Thank you so much for watching, hanging with me through the absolute, squirrel mode that apparently I'm in, and I hope something I said was helpful and not confusing at all. Um, I will talk to you again in a week. And until then, bye.